The air was suffocating, thick with an unseen force pressing down on us. Emily gripped the ancient diary tightly, her fingers ghostly pale from the cold that radiated from its pages. The spirits had made their demand clear. The curse would not be lifted, only transferred. But who would bear it? My stomach twisted at the thought. The walls of the room trembled as the wailing of the trapped souls grew more desperate, their distorted faces emerging from the shadows, their mouths stretched wide in silent agony. The entity from the mirror had not disappeared. It loomed in the periphery of my vision, its hollow eyes filled with knowing malice. Emily turned the brittle pages frantically, her breath coming in sharp gasps. "There has to be another way," she muttered, but I could hear the defeat in her voice. There was none. The inked words on the page confirmed our worst fear. The curse demanded an exchange, a willing soul to carry its burden. My mind raced through the possibilities. Could we deceive it? Could we trick it into binding itself elsewhere? But before I could voice my thoughts, Emily whispered, "What if I took it?" Her voice wavered, and I recoiled, shaking my head violently. "Absolutely not. We'll find another way." The spirits stirred, their whispers turning to shrieks, and a violent gust of wind slammed against us, knocking the diary from Emily's hands. It landed open on the floor, the candlelight flickering against the ink-stained words. The choice must be made. Blood must be given. The entity stepped forward from the shadows, its presence pressing against my very soul. It raised a skeletal hand, gesturing towards Emily, acknowledging her offer. "No!" I lunged for her, gripping her arms, my heart hammering in my chest. "Emily, don't. We don't know what this means." Her eyes, wide and fearful, met mine, and for a moment it was just the two of us, trapped in this nightmare, bound by forces beyond our control. "I can't let this consume us both," she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. "If one of us has to carry it, it should be me." The entity's form flickered, stretching unnaturally, its shadow elongating across the room. The spirits howled as if in approval. My mind screamed at me to stop this, to fight against the inevitable, but the weight of the curse was undeniable. It had chosen us. One of us had to pay the price. The diary's pages fluttered as though caught in an unseen storm, and suddenly the text began to change, reshaping itself into new instructions. A ritual, a binding. Emily knelt beside the book, running her trembling fingers over the inked words. "I have to speak the incantation," she said, her voice hollow. "And then, I must seal it with my own blood." The air grew colder. The entity let out a low, guttural sound, a sound of satisfaction. I clenched my fists. There has to be another way. But even as I said it, I knew there wasn't. The Blackwood curse was ancient, woven into the very fabric of this land, and we had stepped too deep into its grasp. With shaking hands, Emily reached for the broken mirror shards on the floor. She lifted one, its jagged edge glinting ominously. My breath caught as she pressed it against her palm, a thin line of crimson beading along her skin. The spirits surged forward, their forms writhing in anticipation. The entity's hollow eyes gleamed. The moment Emily whispered the first words of the incantation, the room quaked. Shadows swirled, encasing us in an inky void. The walls disappeared. The air vibrated with something ancient, something watching. And then a terrible voice echoed from the abyss. "The pact is sealed." A scream tore from Emily's throat as an invisible force slammed into her, lifting her off the ground. Her body convulsed, her eyes rolling back as the spirits shrieked in triumph. The darkness coiled around her, binding itself to her very soul. And in that moment, I knew we had not won. We had only begun the next chapter of the horror.